Hi, my name's Keith Rhoads, and I want to take a minute today to tell you a little bit about my story. So my story starts here at Heights, actually. I was only a couple weeks old the first time I was in the nursery. I've grown up here. I've grown up with many of the faces around here, and it's been a great story for the most part, but it's one that started in brokenness for me with a broken family. My parents were divorced, so I would spend every other weekend going back and forth, and some weeknights and some different things. There was always a lot of confusion that came from that, some disagreements that came from that. But one thing that was always at the forefront of my parents' priorities was that I needed to be around church and I needed to be around Jesus. I needed to be around people that would teach me about Jesus. So much so that they always had me in whatever program that we had available. Like when I was 8, 9-ish years old, we had a program here at Heights called RAs. And just real short, if you don't know what RAs is, think of Boy Scouts plus Bible study. And it was at one of those camps where I first came to know Jesus. There was one night during an altar call that the pastor, he was preaching about whatever he was preaching about, and I was listening with all the attention span an 8-year-old had. But in that moment, I started to realize the truth in everything that my parents, my grandparents, my Sunday school teachers, that everyone had said all came to fruition. Where there in that moment, I understood that the brokenness that was in my life and in my family and all around me could be restored through Jesus, through His work on the cross, and that was that first moment where I very first prayed to Him. And then again, I'd pray that prayer every single time, every single altar call thereafter that. And that went on until the very first VBS I went to after this RA camp, where I filled out the form to say I'd like to know more about baptism. And Pastor Charles pulled me to the side, and probably my second favorite conversation that ever happened in this whole faith journey of mine was where Pastor Charles helped me understand that in that moment that I first accepted Christ, Christ's blood completely covered all of my sins, past, present, and future, and I could not lose my salvation because there is nothing stronger than our God. And so we continued on with that conversation. He counseled me in what it means to be baptized, and then from there we proceeded forward, and I was baptized here at Heights, where I got to make my public profession of my faith in Jesus. And again, I was fairly young. That was 8 or 9 years old for me. There's been a lot of life since then, a lot of hard things, a lot of good things. If anybody would like to know more about them, more about how Christ has changed my life, please come find me, come talk to me. I'd love to share more about it with you. Thank you for listening.